All right, thank you everybody for tuning in. We are not going to be, we're not going to waste any time jumping in. It's already a few minutes past 8. Let me turn. I thought I turned this damn thing off, this clapping thing off. Okay, I'm sorry about that. So welcome to Truth Be Told with Lofty Conversations, which is my sister Grace. She will be introducing herself momentarily. Tonight's topics, we have two topics. The first topic is going to be the price of solidarity and how that affects the for conversation purposes, Black American culture and Black American people in Black people in America, and how we just love to include everybody with us at our own demise. So, and then the second topic is going to be toxic faith, and it's going to be based from a video that I found from. Her name is April Chapman. I can't think of the name of her channel, but she has really great content. She is a Christian, but she has really good content. She did a story about a 6-year-old child who was unalived. The mother was exorcising demons out of her child, out of the little boy, and it just everything just went left. But it tugged on my heart because we see growing up in church, I've seen so many things, people using their faith to try to talk to God and get over the hump of things, and but what do we do when those things happen and you can't pray those things away? So do we justify it by saying, well, because it's in the Bible, because this scripture says this and this scripture says that we fall prey to those things, and we don't know how to distinguish reality from the Bible, and things of that nature. So I kind of want to just touch on that because I thought it was really it was a heartfelt video I was watching with the mother and the 6-year-old child. So without further ado, I'm going to and put our guest on. First person is Grace, my co-host, as well as my beautiful sister from Lofty Conversations. Grace, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. Peace, love, light, and power. My name is Grace Pinkney. I am a life coach, and I will be sharing the stage with my sister tonight. I don't know why she has me as a co host. I just wanted to come on and support. Um, but I am with Lofty Convos. You can go to my YouTube channel and subscribe, please. You can also follow me on Facebook under my name, Grace Pinkney. I'm excited to be on. Welcome to all of you who have decided to join, who will also be watching the replay. We are excited to have you with us tonight as we navigate these two amazing topics. I think it's going to be really phenomenal. Not so much the first part for me, because I don't follow Essence in that respect, but we'll get into all of that. But definitely the toxic faith, being a faith-based pastor formerly. I'm very excited to navigate these deep waters. So do us all a favor. Go ahead and like, share, and subscribe for us. Drop where you're watching from in the chat. Say something to us. Greet us, if you will. Again, we're excited to have you with us. Peace, love, light, and power.
Thank you, thank you. My sister's very much more articulate than I am, so I just like to tell people to make sure they like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. But please just don't be rude in the comments because people do have feelings. So we want to make sure that the message is delivered with grace and love. That's how you win people over. So the next person I want to bring to the stage is Dulcinea. I haven't met her, but I met her through the internet, of course, through social media, on YouTube, through Top Cats. So if you know Top Cats, then you definitely know he brings the heat, he brings the receipts. So the next person I want to bring up is Dulcinea.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be on. Truth be told, I really do enjoy the conversations, and I'm very excited to meet you, Lofty Convos. My name is Dulcie. I'm Dulcinea with the Dulcie Effect. You can find me on YouTube. And happy Monday,
Yes.
everybody! I hope your weekend went well, and I think we're gonna have such a great
All
conversation. So.
right, I'm going to get into the very first video. We're talking about the Essence video, Essence Fest, I should say, and how Let me see how I can phrase this. I haven't watched Essence in a very long time. I haven't watched the videos, none of the stuff in a very long time. I did notice last year when they did have it, when they had the Essence Festival, they had some clips and they had Busta Rhymes, and he was trying to get everybody, up dancing, whatever. I didn't know Busta was from, is he Haitian or Jamaican or something like that? I know he's not from, he's Jamaican.
He's Jamaican.
Okay. I didn't realize he was Jamaican. So, it was really creepy and weird the way he was the way he was coming off. He was almost like militant and forceful, trying to get people to come up. But I didn't realize that even last year when they had the Essence Festival, how it was a little bit more Africanized and not boots on the ground American Essence type feeling, so. But this year it was a lot worse from looking at the videos and hearing people's comments and things of that nature. So we're going to jump into the very first video. I'm going to share my screen. Yeah, this is the one. Okay.
Orleans has been hosting the Essence Festival, and every year it kicks off at 4th of July weekend. And typically it lasts, 3 to 4 days. This year it lasted July 2nd to July 6th, and people were talking about it because every year it's really amazing with many performances. It's a lot of fashion designers and many vendors coming all across the country. But something happened this year that was startling.
Essence Fest acknowledges ticket sales are down this year, citing a variety of reasons.
But I think there's a lot happening in our world, just in general, that's impacting people deciding to go places or not.
Barcoo Tubman Zawalo, Essence Chief Community Officer, says some vendors are also opting out this year. Essence maintains it supports 300 local businesses, and the fest generates a multi-million-dollar economic impact.
And I think we just want to make sure that in spite of what we're all navigating, that people come and have an amazing time, because I think it's interesting times just for all of us right now.
Now, one of the first startling things that we found out was that vendors were lower in participation this year. So in events, typically what happens is the more vendors you have coming to an event, the more money the vendors can make. But vendors were not spending money or coming to sell at Essence Festival at this particular year. And the person that you saw explaining the whole situation was a lady by the name of Barcoo Tubman Zawalo. She is the Chief Community Officer of Essence. Now, if you guys know the name Tubman, very similar to Harriet Tubman, that is a name associated with the African American community. And this particular lady is Liberian. And what I will say is she is related to the African American community because that name is basically one of the slave names that went back to Liberia from America. But her last name is Zawalo. So she is Liberian, but part of the African American tribe that went to Liberian. But we would clearly say that she's not hashtag FBA. She is a part of Liberian culture. And that
I just kind of want to stop it right there and maybe give a little commentary to see what you guys think of just who's over it at this point. I didn't like her wig, so I'm just going to go ahead and put that out there. She looked like a sheep, them sheep have, what's the dogs that have that long hair? The big dogs with the long hair. That's what she looked like. I didn't like her wig at all. Horrible representation for wherever she come from. But Grace, being that Essence was created for us by us. If back in the day we had the whole FUBU thing. So being that it was created for Black Americans, and now it's being ran by two people, one person from Liberia, and I think the other lady, Carol Wenger, she is from Nigeria, if I'm not mistaken. We'll see her in another clip later. But what is your take just on that piece right there?
I mean, we have to remember that it's no longer for us by us, right? It was purchased by these Liberians or these Africans. So they are now overseeing the Essence Fest. Now, with that, I don't think it's right that they come in and erase us from the Essence Fest. I don't see where there was representation from us or involvement from us. But as having new owners, do they not have a right to put on the show or put on the event according to what they want it to be? Although it's on American soil, they still came over here and they purchased it. So I don't have an issue with them owning it per se. I do have an issue with them excluding us, not involving us in the process, not keeping the representation of FAB and all of that dynamic. I did not watch any of it, so I don't know exactly what it looked like in terms of the whole Africanized piece. But if that's what the representation is, and then we're supposed to be African Americans, it kind of would seem that we would, merge the two together, mesh the two together and become one so that we can have representation from both sides while still honoring the culture in the soil that you came here for.
Okay. Dulcie?
Yeah, so I would say when it comes to that, I think it's more of a temperature check that they're kind of doing, and it's showing how out of touch that they really are. I can talk a little bit back of just even being that Essence Fest has always been around my birthday, but because in these latter years it's really fell off from how it started and what people enjoy about it. Like it's always been a thing of if I'm gonna go as far as the Essence Fest. But when I would say a temperature check, like seeing how engulfed we are in African American culture, and that African part of it being stressed, and it's really showing the people are just out of touch with that. That's not what they're looking for. They were supposed to announce at a time, and they were like, "Yeah, just trust us. We're gonna announce our lineup going down," and everyone was like, "We ain't buying no tickets until we know who's all coming." And
Right.
then when it finally announced who was coming, it was a decent lineup, but just how they were portraying it, how they're marketing it, is just so out of touch with us. I think that really showed as far as the vendors not coming. So people think that they can do this whole psyop, and I think the same kind of thing happened with BET. It's one way you have this psyop of it, and then it takes our essence out of it, and then people aren't enjoying it anymore. They're doing all this marketing, all this, oh, we're revamping year after year to make it closer to what you guys expect, and it never is because you're not including
Yeah,
us.
I was just about to say that is what is the expectation? Are we expecting it to be some balance between the two? Or were we just saying, okay, we're just going to see how this is going to play out? What was the expectation? Would you say, is it, am I pronouncing it right? Dulcinea? Okay. Because
Yeah,
I do
yeah.
not
We
like to
call you
mispronounce
Dulcie for
people's names
short.
because I do not like my name mispronounced. Um, what do you think?
I would say the expectation, and I would say in general, when it comes to this, I think overall, as Black Americans and representing American culture, we have no problem with it being more like a potluck. Like you can come and join in and show your part of your culture, but it should never erase our culture, especially since our culture is so vibrant. It's something that we love to be around. Everything, the essence of it is what people enjoy when they're coming out, because you have people coming out from all over America for events like this. So you're getting that New Orleans flavor because it's in New Orleans and everyone knows that's just authentically American. But then you're also having people come from all over the South, all over the North, the Midwest. So if anything, especially with what was happening in the country revolution and Black Americans finally being included and recognized in country, I think that was an important aspect to really lean in on this year in Essence Festival, even if they were to include African culture. Include it, don't erase
Absolutely.
us.
That was my biggest issue was the erasure. There's nothing wrong with embracing the two or merging the two together. but then to come over and purchase an American brand, if you will, a Black American brand at that, that has been a staple in our communities, why would you not ask us to sit at the table, to have conversation, to see, what would be the lineup, what would be most impactful, what would be most beneficial, to kind of just say, here, take this, enjoy it, and nothing else, is where that leaves a little bitter sourness in my mouth.
Well, I think I'm going to go on the other side of the fence with it. I don't think they should be involved at all, to be completely honest with you. I don't think they should have been able to buy it, or even, you can be in attendance, but to be at the helm of things where you're controlling it, I don't think that, I don't like it. I'm just gonna be honest. I don't like it, for the simple fact that I see in real time how the erasure is going. And if we don't put a hold to it, we don't stop it now, then we're going to be just like our ancestors, where we was wiped off our lands. And now, we just literally being erased right in front of our faces, and we're not doing anything about it. Because when Grayson, we grew up in New York, so we had a lot of encounters with different races, Africans, Hispanics, Mexicans, Dominicans, all of that. And one thing I can say about each one of those groups, they didn't fuck with us like that. They did business with us and things of that nature, but they didn't socialize with us like that at all. And then now to want to come in and start being part of the Blackness of America, how do we separate from that, or do y'all think that there should be a separation, just so we can maintain our identity, because we are different than any one of those groups, including Africans, Haitians, Jamaicans. Our mindset is totally different. Our culture is different. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I want to back up to what you first said, which is a completely different aspect of it from the beginning. I do not, this is just me personally, I concur that I do not think they should have been allowed to purchase Essence. That's just me personally. However, it is a business. They are publicly traded companies. So if that's what happened, my question then becomes, why didn't Black America come together? All of these celebrities, all of these trillions of dollars that we spend in America, why didn't we collectively come together and purchase, not BET, purchase Essence ourselves, so that it can remain part of our culture? We have to remember that whoever purchases it, they are going to insert, if it's not Black America, they're going to insert their culture into it. They should not erase our culture, absolutely, but they're definitely going to insert their culture into it. And I like how Dulcinea said it. It was a test. Let's check the temperature. Let's see how much we can push the envelope here. How much, are they going to, accept this, or how much pushback are we going to get? So it was a temperature check also at the same time to say, okay, what are we going to be able to get away with this? But I don't think they should have been allowed to purchase it either.
And from reading some of this information and looking up some stuff, I don't even see where it was even given as a thought to have somebody from Black America to sit at the table to want to buy it.
It wasn't. It was really kind of hush hush. They were trying to maintain, they were in trouble. The subscriptions were in trouble. And rather than be transparent, and of course, in any business, in any brand, there's a certain level of transparency you're only going to be able to have, because you want the company to remain viable in a sense, so that it can be purchased. You don't want them to be like, subscriptions are really, really low and we're really, really struggling. And if we don't get someone, more subscriptions and somebody to, jump in, we're going to lose the company. That's not how you lead with that at the same time. But there was no indication that they were in trouble in order for the collective to come together for a resolve at the same time. So it was between the rock and the hard place.
And see, for me, and I agree with what you guys are saying, I don't agree that they should take over. But to me, what is happening is it's more of a sellout situation. Just that's why I compared it to
Mhm.
BET. It's more the money, the agenda of it all. We don't even know the backhand deals that they get and stuff like that. So it's behooving these people to sell out and say, okay, we're just going to give this to a foreigner to go ahead and navigate. But what I would say, what I like about what I'm seeing is all that is backfiring
Yes.
on them. They are trying so hard to get in on us, and what we're showing is like, whether you guys display our culture, we're going to have our culture
Right,
regardless. We won't go to those events. We'll make our own
right,
events. We'll hang out with our own families and all this other stuff. So I like that, because what it's showing is if they're not going to tap in with us at all, that on a spiritual side, no matter that we have so much more to go, we still are tapping into what it really means to be in this culture, and we're not going to let someone come out from outside of it and make it into something that it's not, and then us
right.
support it. We're going to at least lean together on that point, but we do have to get to a point that we are the ones that
Yeah,
control the things like these festivals that have been going on for so
yeah,
long. Everything as far as that we do culturally, we do need to be the ones that are controlling it, and then we can invite someone else to support our efforts or be our allies. But them being our allies means that they got to take a back seat, not
right.
drive.
Right, exactly. And I think that's the biggest thing. Because they're in the driver's seat and we're way on the back of the bus like Rosa Parks. We're not able to do anything. We're not. And I think for the most part, they even Africans understand us, that we are different from them as well. And I think they do understand economically, like together we're not together economically either.
No,
We can't come together to save our lives unless we doing boots on the ground and shaking fans and shaking ass. So they know that about us as well. They're very vocal about that too. So I think even inviting, because I feel like once you invite somebody into your space, that they feel they can always have a seat at the table if you don't stop it.
let me ask you, ladies, this. Do you think, because I don't know the details about surrounding the purchase and how public knowledge it was or was not, but let's say that it was presented to other groups, within America, within Black culture to purchase Essence, and they declined or did not have the resources to do so. Is it then okay then to step outside of the culture to make an offer?
I think you said something. I'll let Dulcie go first though.
Um, I think as far as it, I don't, I think there's no way you could have like marketed it the way it needed to be. I just don't see how just the whole point of what Essence Festival is, which is like a summer festival, how someone in America and a Black American doesn't see the potential in that. I just wouldn't understand financially how no one would be interested in that and no one would have the money for that. I guess is where I would have some confusion, because even like for instance a summer jam event, it's like turning down summer jam in New York on like, or turning down like a Chicago festival during the summers for like a summertime shy. Like I don't see how a Black American would turn down New Orleans
Mhm.
summertime.
Exactly. And I think Grace said something earlier about the sports. Sports. You had actors, actresses, who whatever. Them, they could even came together and say, "Hey, we're going to buy this." I mean, granted, they don't have to, but that would have been a nice idea. But collectively, you know, how much money did they raise for Kamala Harris when she first, which $81 million in overnight? And then we
Right.
couldn't, so I wouldn't understand either how it was bypassed. And of course, it's done intentionally, because why they want niggas around? And when I say that, I mean, Black Americans, because when you look at Africans and other races that look like us, they are a little bit more docile. They are quieter. They fit into the norm of what America is supposed to be, as opposed to us wild Indians. We gonna do whatever. That's just our nature. Like Bernie Mac said, we loud for no reason. That's our defense mechanism. We're just different types of people. And even though we have those different components with each other about each other, we understand each other collectively from those points. And what I mean by that is I was watching a video with Angel Reese and another WNBA ball player, and they was kind of they was going back and forth with the words, arguing or whatever. But the ref, who was a white lady, she came in between them. And this is what I liked about the situation, what they did. They stopped arguing with each other to tell her to mind her business. Get out of the business. Yeah, we know both of them. It was like, we know what we doing. That's exactly what they did. It's like, we know what we doing. We know how to talk to each other. But I think it was definitely done intentionally to where they don't want us at the helm of anything.
I was going to say, isn't this in the playbook? I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't this play just part of the playbook, So I think for me, and it wasn't just the fest that they bought, they purchased Essence, so that the fest came along with it. So it's all part of it. So we can't exclude the magazine portion of it as well, because, it's all together. But I do not remember hearing like one iota of an issue with Essence. I don't remember seeing anything on the news and on social media, asking for, subscriptions to be increased, let's support. Like, I don't remember seeing anything whatsoever, any kind of promo regarding Essence being in trouble or just needing to boost subscriptions, ratings, viewership, nothing whatsoever. I haven't even seen an Essence commercial.
You know what?
Nothing.
Me neither. I never thought about that. Nothing.
So how were we to know it was in trouble, for one? And would we, again, my question was, if it's presented to Black America and Black America declines it, is that open season for all then to come in and purchase? Or were we supposed to let it just fall to the ground and rebuild?
I have another theory. What if it wasn't nothing wrong with it in the first damn place and they just use it as a ploy? Like those.
As I said, it's just part of the.
Yeah, I was kind of looking into
Yeah.
it a little bit, and from what I see of it, and like where it kind of looks like they're sold out a bit, is the Unilever, which is a British
Mhm.
company, and it seemed like they're worth $1 billion now. And also, they were doing like the Shea Moistures, and I've heard over
Yes.
the years too, because like we were all Shea Moisturizer, everything, and then how they kind of skimped out on what makes the product
did.
so good for our
That's
skin,
because somebody
for our hair.
outside of us purchased it.
Yeah.
Right, is like saying, oh, take a little lesser, because all they care about is profits at
Correct.
the end of the
Exactly.
day. And being like, okay, if we skimp out on this or that, we'll have a bigger profit margin, but then it's not good for our hair. Then it's not good
Right.
for our skin. So I think it's a little bit of that. And to your point, Grace, what we do at that point where someone is like, hey, I can make a few million with you, but I can make $1 billion with this
Right.
person, but I'm selling out. I think we need to just then
Yeah.
discard it.
Okay.
We say, okay, you sold out. We can't support you anymore, because the reason we were supporting you before is because you did quality things. It was good for our culture. It was good for our skin. It was good for
Right.
our hair. And now that you're selling out and you're watering it down literally, then we don't need to support it. We don't have to support watered down
Right.
products or
They
events.
did the same thing with Dr. Sabi. Someone, outside of our culture purchased it, and they reconfigured the products, and they became ineffective, in a sense, and same exact thing. So what I'm seeing a pattern here of everybody else coming in wanting a piece of the Black American culture pie, but at the same time, that pie is erasure. It's not inclusive. It's not, okay, let's join together and come together and sit at the table and see what we can collectively create. It's, okay, we're going to come in. We're going to erase you, move you back from the table. We want to keep all your people. We want to keep all your culture. We want to keep all your food, your music, your fashion, you know, all of that. We want all of your celebrities. We want all of the big names. We want all of this because we still want your black dollars. We just
Right.
don't want your black face.
Hello.
Right.
Amen, Walls. No. I mean, so that to me that is a danger to where it at our own demise, because we're so inclusive to where just because they look like us, they have the same hues as us, then we automatically feel that there has to be some type of brotherhood or sisterhood in some form of gelling together, to where we just forget who we are. We forget that this is the land that we know. We don't know any other land,
Yeah, I don't know Africa.
Right. We don't know any other culture but the culture that we have, and that everybody feeds off the culture that we have.
Absolutely.
Even Africans over in Africa, they feed off the culture that we have. You go look up countless of videos. They talk like us. They dress like us. They look like they stuck in the 90s, because a lot of their outfits just be, I don't know what the hell but anyway, their whole persona is us. So, and it just,
Yeah, and that's been so long of just with everything. It's not even
It's
just in
not.
Africa. If you look at the Asian,
It's
if you look at
everywhere.
anyone in the world, and they say, "Oh, we're adopting American culture," but American culture is
That's
really
Right.
us. And that's how they erase it from us, is because they call it American culture and then say Black America doesn't have culture, but Black American culture is American
exactly.
culture. There is no separate American culture if you take our
It don't
culture
move
out of it.
without us.
So
We set the trends.
exactly,
And
everything
nothing
moves
Yes.
with us. So the main thing that has been a problem, which I think both of you guys mentioned earlier, is us not galvanizing on that
Right.
power, us not using our dollar in
Right.
the right way, because the way we use our dollar is going to navigate everything. I think even Clubhouse was like that. Like Clubhouse was non-existent. No one cared about it or anything like that. And then some, I think, I want to say, I don't know if they were Australian or some couple of white boys, from foreign white boys, repackaged it for
Mm,
us, and
mm.
then Clubhouse popped off. So it's about us being able to do that for ourselves. Stop with this fake repackaging, and then us buying into what someone else has, and us start really doing it for ourselves. And I do think we're getting to that point, but it's just been a long time coming of just being like trying to convince everyone of our power, of all this money. They say, oh, we're so small of the
Mhm.
population and we matter. But then we turn around and they have a whole $1 trillion island worth of money, wealth, just on us alone. So how we spend our money on clothes, our hair products, our skin, it matters, because that's what the rest of the world is going to do, and they're going to follow us. So we just have to be more mindful of that and figure out how to teach that to
Yes.
our youth, that they are more mindful of that. And then we really go into how do we then galvanize, because what's I think what's the real problem right now is that we have the Black businesses and people that are coming up with ideas and everything, and then they try to forego it, like the young ladies that were in California that tried to compete with the
Mm.
Korean stores. Well, then they don't let them have access to the same products. So we need to be like not only the face front store, but we need to be the products on the back end as well. So that's where we're really pushing right now. We need to make our own get our own minerals, make our own products and everything, and we need to push that.
But
Definitely.
even when we do that, go ahead. I'm sorry, Wanda, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, but we need to support each other in those.
That's the
places.
that's the
That's
issue.
the problem.
That's
And
the
then when
problem.
I say support, for those who's listening and listen to the replay, when we say support, I work for myself. I'm a barber, and I've been working for myself for over 20 years. Support does not mean that you get a free service or you get a discounted service, because we have bills, we have things we have to take care of ourselves. And if we always trying to give people a discount, that's going to cost us. That's cost effective to us. So when we say support, we mean support the whole way. Don't ask for don't be trying to penny pinch niggas. Like, that shit pisses me off. But go ahead, Grace.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Not as colorful as you just expressed it. But that was my point, is that we have so many Black brands, so many Black businesses. I think we have covered every industry. I would like to say, I can't definitively say that. I don't have any stats on that, but I feel like we are involved in every industry at some level, right?
Mm-hmm.
But where is the support for Black brands and Black businesses? For an example, to your point, Wanda, you got people who know that you're a barber, you're in the community, but it's almost as if you have to beg, plead, offer discounts and specials and promos and do all of it. Go pick up the person, bring them to the shop, take them back home. You know, in order for them to support, they don't tip, they don't write reviews, nothing. They don't spread the word. There's no word of mouth. Like, there's nothing that's going on in terms of Black businesses here in our community in particular, where we are seeing any level of support. But in other ethnicities and other cultures, they support. In fact, they will tell you, no, I'm willing to pay full price. I don't need a discount.
Yeah.
They will pay full price because I am here to support you. And if we're going to discount everything and give everything away, then we're not going to have a profit. We're not going to be profitable. We're not going to be able to keep the doors open. We're not going to continue to be able to offer the services and products that we offer. People do not support in our community. They don't. I know a young lady who does journals and she does children's books and all of that kind of thing. And she's in a pretty large community. No support.
Wow.
No support whatsoever. So how do we correct that behavior?
That's where I'm like, part of it, we are going to have to, rely on the future minds that are coming up, the minds of our children, because I think Dr. Claude Anderson said it best when it came to that, is white ice is better than black ice for some reason. That it could be the same price, it can be discounted at the black store, but for some reason that we're going to come up with this excuse that the other ice tastes better. It's better for us, something that's going on, and that's just been our mindset and mentality for so long as far as it. But also, I think now is a great time as far as to even get to our people, because we do see this navigated into different mindsets of foundational Black Americans, FBA, or different things like we are the culture. So I think right now is a good time for us to revolutionize that thought process of just being like, okay, now this is the way that we need to market things. And we need to stop putting so much of the African into it. Like, honestly, we need to know that there are products that are for Black Americans and that use our minerals here, use different products that are from here that are going to be good for us, because even when we have so many Black owned businesses right now, they're very African.
Yeah, I want to speak to,
and there's nothing.
Go right ahead. I'm sorry. I want to speak to that.
Well, Grace, before you do, I would like to acknowledge Lottie. He's one of my clients, and he's from Lottie. He's from Nigeria. And he was one of the first people that made me see through a different lens when it came to politics. And
Mm-hmm.
and he was, I hope you don't mind me saying this, but he was a Trump supporter. When I met him, he was a Trump supporter. And
Okay.
we laughed at him because he was trying to tell us, hey, look, Trump is about business and he's about economics, he's for the country. But at the time, all I saw was Trump bad, Trump racist. So
Right.
I didn't have my eyes open enough to see where what he was truly talking about and what he was meaning. And now that I see that, Trump is, I don't think he's a racist or anything like that. He definitely is maybe what we like to call prejudice, and there's nothing wrong with being prejudiced about of sustaining your race, which is what we're talking about. We want to make sure that we're sustaining our race, and it's nothing wrong if we're alienating and delineating from people who look like us, because as Lottie also has shared with me, I have a video of him saying it. He said, "You guys are not from Africa. You guys are from America." And that made me really appreciate him so much. And he's somebody who supports every week. He comes in and get his head scraped every single week. And he's a great tipper. And that's why I for people like him, I go above and beyond with my clients who show me appreciation.
Sure.
They love me, so I'm gonna love them back harder.
Right.
And so I just want to say I appreciate you, Lottie, and I will see you Friday at 10:15. Go ahead, Grace.
Well, you kind of exactly was going to where I was going with it. Have we potentially created this whole Africanized experience here in America because we have bought into the African experience so very much in terms of we are African Americans? So have we leaned into that to our own deficit, if you will, because we have jumped on that bandwagon that we are African? Could that be part of what we're experiencing? That's why so much of what we are experiencing in Black culture is now African culture?
That's a good question. I'll let Dosey. I got Dosey go first.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think absolutely. I think it's down to even the way we get the products made. Like I was saying, like you're seeing that these shea butters, they're going to Africa to go get
Right.
them. These makeup, these bronzers, the minerals are coming from Africa and everything. And there's nothing that's really investing to be like, oh, we have some great minerals
Right.
here. We have some great farmers here. We
Right.
have these products and everything that we need to all work with each other. And that's where it's happening, where they're even able to X us out, because when we do have these forefronts and then we have to go to the manufacturer, and the manufacturers them, the minerals are them, to make the product is them, they charge the business more, and then the business has to charge us more, so we have to then compete and saying,
Right.
do I want to support
Right.
this $100 for 8 ounces,
Right.
or do I want to go to Bath and Body Works and get this $20? And they're doing that on
Right.
purpose. So we have to figure out a way as far as to put us really in every aspect of it, and then work with each other to make these products to go in as far as to push them out, because then we'll be able to compete on the market. But I think right now they're just pricing us out
Sure.
of the market, basically. If it is a for us, by us, then they're going to do a mimic of it. It's watered down for cheaper, and people are going to automatically say that's cheaper, so I'm not going to
Right.
support
Right.
you.
Because how is it that for our hair, you've got all of these other groups of people who are making products for us,
That part.
Exactly.
and then we don't support the ones who do make the product for us? I try to support, our products whenever possible. I have a bottle of oil on my bathroom counter right now from a young lady who makes her own hair oils. and I think it's is it a 4-ounce or a 6-ounce bottle for $20? Is that more than what I could buy on Amazon? Absolutely. But again, I'm trying to lean into taking care of us, but we don't support each other. We don't support each other. We criticize before we attempt to support. We downplay it. We find fault with it first. We find all of the negative stuff that we can find about it first before we then conclude, I'm not fooling with us, because I say it.
But we all say it. We all say it. I want to play another clip, since I love this comment by Lottie. He said also immigration is killing Black culture. There's a one other video, real quick video that I have that I wanted to play right quick.
Here with us today, I know we have a number of Native leaders. And as president, I will tell you, I will always honor tribal sovereignty and respect tribal self-determination.
This heifer get on my nerves.
And fight for a future where every Native person can realize their aspirations and every Native community is a place of opportunity.
Those explorers ushered in a wave of devastation for tribal nations.
You saw that white man just super happy in the background. You just know he a
You
Native
better know
too.
he a $5 Indian. you better know it. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Violence, stealing land, and spreading disease. We must not.
I just want everybody to take a look at this. Harris announces Native American platform to restore 500,000 acres to tribal lands. I just want that to sink in. That's it.
Shy away from this shameful past. And we must shed light on it and do everything we can to address the impact of the past on Native communities today. Today, we know that Native women and girls are missing and murdered at alarming rates. This is an epidemic, and it must end. Today, we also know that Native American voters are being systematically denied access to the ballot box, which is why we must pass the Freedom to Vote Act and the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act.
I'm gonna pause it right here. And the reason I wanted to play this clip based off what the comment Lottie had is also the immigration is killing the Black culture. Under the John Lewis Act, it was because he's a civil rights leader, right? So automatically we're going to have his back because of the civil rights movement era attachment, all of the emotions that go along with it, because all of that, a lot of our parents went through things of that nature and whatnot.
Right.
And because of that emotional attachment, he's a Black man, we automatically side with pushing agendas and pushing votes and pushing statutes and laws that have no direct benefit to us or pushes us out. So under this act, he was used for the face of it, but the act was for mainly the LGBT community.
Right.
Again, when we become so inclusive to everything attached to the color of things, we that's what we fuck up at. I don't know any other way to say it. That's what we mess up at.
So let me ask you this for a call to action. What's the plan? What's the way forward? Right? Because we can identify all of these issues, and there are going to be so many more that parallel this conversation because that's the agenda, right?
Right.
So what is going to be our response, not reaction? We tend to react. We tend to be very emotional. We tend to be very egoic, and all of that. So what is the way forward? How do we combat what we are experiencing here in America on in the land that we were reared that we created, that we built, all of that. How do we move this thing forward? Or have we lost the cause completely?
I always let the guests go first because I have a lot.
I love that.
Yes, I think a definite problem is the color lines. It's identifying as the color of things. Um, though I do see where a good starting point is
Mhm.
FBA, is at least distinguishing this foundational Black Americans. I think the overlying issue is this, that they've gotten us to incorporate with Black, and then once you're incorporated with Black, that allows everything to be associated and
Exactly.
tied to
Yep.
it, because it doesn't have this
Yes.
definitive language or term of who you're actually applying it to. So, like, to your point, that once we're Black, that's when they can put the LGBT in, because now we have LGBT, and now their matters are a part of this, because we are talking about Black
Right.
here, right? So they use all these different earmarks, all these different addressing different things, just under the disguise of Black. And I think that's just a major issue of when we're identifying ourselves as that.
I love that.
And we really need to go back to the true
I
identification.
love that.
We have to go back to where we were before, because I feel like this was the plan all
Sure.
along, from at least the 1700s, 1600s.
I love that. Absolutely.
I-
And Wanda has talked about that, over the last 5 years or so. You've talked about that, and there, people in our communities we've had these conversations with, who are wanting to go through the process of becoming Native American, and that kind of thing. And why is it this long, drawn out process, and all of these hoops that we have to jump through in order to change it, change that identity? Would it be better for us just to go back to Negro? Would it be better for us to subscribe to Native American? What would be the identifier that we need to have in order to shed ourselves from and detach ourselves from this Black reality that carries no power, has no weight, has no benefit to us whatsoever? And as long as we keep identifying with it and as it, we get nothing.
Wow. Dulcie, if you don't mind me, I'm going to go back to the first part of what we was talking about. I do think that it might be a tad bit too late, because we have so many people who's on board with, one, being labeled Black, two, being labeled African American, when both of those are considered civil mortis, or if you, in layman's term, you're dead civilly to the U.S. government. So
Right.
when we identify, and I'm using that in a collective sense, so when we identify with something that has zero backing, zero bone to it, with as far as it concerns to the government, because the government is a business, and in land, this is real life monopoly that we're in, and we're
Right.
this within our own communities where we live at. We live in a predominantly white county, my sister and I, and there's so much construction going up with homes and other businesses, and we don't have our foot in none of those things. There is
Nothing.
nothing that we can reach out and put our hands on and say, hey, this is ours, but we'll get together and want to go play pickleball and horseshoe and all that other that we do, instead of coming together and say and galvanizing, like Dulcie said, and let's get some land. We can party on our own shit, but right now
Yeah.
we need to focus, and we need to realign ourselves to getting a piece of these nigga pies, because right now all we keep seeing is white only pies, as they said in the movie.
Yeah.
But I do think that if we're not teaching our children that we are separate, and by being separate doesn't mean no harm to any other race, any other culture, but we do need to have to start gatekeeping who we are, and so our children can have a chance, because as of right now, we're so far behind the curveball in so many arenas that it's not even funny. but where's our mindset? I think that once we can try to get collectively people to look at it through a different lens and say, hey, look, we're not concerned about being called African. We don't want to be called that. We are our own identity. We are our own identity. Being called Negro is about the same thing as being called Black. When our people went through tribal, they had tribal names that they used.
Right.
So back to our tribal names, we're Blackfoot. We're Blackfoot Indians of America, down the south, because you still had some quote unquote fake the Blackfeet up there too. But when we can start going by who we identifying as who we are truly, then I think we would have a better chance. And as to answer your second question, is even on the when you go fill out a job application or any of those documents right there, it gives you the option to self-identify. It says I think it's Alaskan Indian or something like that, or Native American Indian. I always choose American Indian because Native American Indian are two different types of people. We're not Native Americans, we're American Indians. So, and I think with these Pan-Africanists, they love to include and say, oh, y'all think y'all Native Americans. No, we're not Native Americans. We're not saying that. That is not our stance. Our stance is we are American Indians and indigenous to this land where our people have touched back for centuries on this soil, without any lineage or blood ties to Africans anywhere.
Right.
I'm very hopeful that we can go somewhere with this. We do have a great call to action, but it's going to take us to really try to get away from the names first of all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Well, what I'll say is my friend, he contacted me, and I think he's going to be releasing it later, but he had this exciting conversation with politics, and he said that they're at least in talks about separating the Black and the African American.
Right there with
so I think that's a start. Yeah, so
that's
I think that's definitely a start. We need to be aligning with as far as it is. That's why I say I'm not in total agreement with FBA, but I'm glad that they at least start at that 1870 mark. So we can at least get it where the people that identify as Black start at that 1870 mark of being like, we've been here longer than these other people. And then we can get the people that know better do better, that we do have to start being like, okay, identifying about who we are, being these checking that American Indian when you can, correct your birth certificate, make that show the right thing as far as, and have it being an alliance between American Indian, American Aboriginal, and foundational Black.
I love that.
We can then at least galvanize on those points of just being like, we've been here, we're the foundation of this culture. And instead of always fighting with these Pan-Africans that definitely have agendas anyways, that I see as agents, because they're working on behalf of the government of all these Quakers, CIA, FBI, that's always been. We just think y'all continue to do what y'all are doing over there. We can then be like, okay, let's have talks about legislation. What kind of legislation would we have? What kind of things would we want to develop in education and do those type of things and make the politicians that we even vote for stand on that by signing documents, something that's going to hold their feet to the fire and not just be like, so once we get into really establishing those kind of things where we're working together like that, I don't think it takes all of us.
I have something. And Wanda and I had that. Wanda, you remember we talked about that line of separation? I said, let those who claim to be African American and you know that who your tribe is and where your family's from in Africa, go for it. Absolutely. Let's draw a line in the sand and let that be the deciding factor so that we can accomplish what we need to accomplish here for those who are not. Because that's just part of the issue. But I love that you said that. I'm in full agreement.
I pulled this up because Dulcie said something about African Americans and I forget what she said, but it might come back to me. But
separating the classification between Black
and Americans. That's it. Thank you, Holy Ghost. But I had this drawn up, pulled up, And what this is just showing the total U.S. population is at 349.7 million. Black Americans, U.S. born, 40.6. All others, including Native Americans, 309.1 million. So when you look at these two numbers, excluding the 40.6, you look at these two numbers, you look at these numbers, how do we get ahead when we have more against us? When I say more, I mean the people. We have more other groups over us, surpasses us collectively than our little measly 40.6. And then when you break down and look at the groups of how much they make, look at how much the Asians make.
Yeah.
Then the whites and Hispanics. And I just want us to focus on the last two. The Black American is at 44, let's just say 45,000, where the African immigrants estimate almost 10,000 to 30,000 more than what we have.
Wow.
So that's why I think it's so important that we do separate. And again, it's no harm in doing that. Is no disrespect to other races and cultures and ethnic whatever. But as we can see, we're so far behind. How are we supposed to have anything for our future generations?
That part. That's
Yeah,
and
because,
that's what Kelsey was talking about earlier. We have to get, we got to get some new guards in place. That's part of the issue for us, is the old guards are still running the show, because the old guards still believe that unless the white man says or validates us, then it ain't gonna happen. I was watching The Gilded Age on yesterday, and what they would do in those times is, unless a white person came in and baptized it and named it and called it and supported it, then there was nothing that was supported or of value for us as a people. And so we've got to get out of that. And there's nothing wrong with turning within. There's nothing wrong. It's not to exclude people. It's not to, make people feel less than or anything like that. When you go to an Asian market, who's there? The Asians.
The Asians.
When you go to a Mexican market, who's there? The Mexicans. So it's like, when you go to an African market, who's there? The Africans. But when it comes to us, it is always problematic when we attempt to do the same thing, follow those same patterns, and do something for ourselves. Then we're racist, we're prejudiced, all of these types of things. You can label me what you want. I do not care. Right now, the focus is on us. And in order for us to do that and make something happen, we're going to have to close the doors to everyone else. The price of solidarity. We got to close the door.
Cookout is closed, it's done.
It's closed.
If you
Boots on the ground is closed. It's only within.
Right, no more boots, no more ground, nothing. If you happen to be in a mixed marriage, well, of course you got to have your children, your wife. They got to come, but they got to follow nigga rules. That's all I'm saying. They got to follow the nigga shit. They got to follow it. But I want to play this last little clip, and I think this person summarized the first topic so very, very well, and I'm going to go ahead and play.
Completely honest. The reason why they need you to come out and help them with their protests is because you move the needle. You just don't know it. You actually are the people who make change and make things happen in this country. You do it. You just don't know it because they let you do it and then they tell you you're not doing it. Okay? That's the God's honest truth. That's why every single group that comes to America, they attach themselves or at least try to latch on to Black America, especially when it comes down to protesting or anything else. They don't ask the clear people to come help them. They don't ask the Asians to come help them. They ain't ask no other people to come and help them except Black America. And then they'll scold us and say, oh, why y'all got boots on the ground? They got real boots on the ground. Well, nigga, we don't own no factories and we don't own no poppy fields. We don't own nothing to create. So then what else can we do? At the end of the day, we are the Most High's chosen people. If there's anything that's coming toward us, the universe, the ancestors, and the Most High got whatever it's going to be. What else can we do? When you are a chosen people, you don't live your life sitting around and worrying about what's going to happen to you, because you understand that even if God forbid something happens to me, my people as a whole going to be here. Now it's time to use that resilience y'all want to claim we got from slavery. See, y'all want to say, oh, we got resilience from slavery, and it brought about hip hop and R&B and Jew and black and jazz and blues and all that stuff. Y'all want to say we got to get our ass kicked to make something, and that's not necessarily always the truth. The fact of the matter is this. The fact of the matter is this. As a Black American, especially as an indigenous copper color American, that I have proven through lineage and genealogy per documentation, government documentation. I know that most of my people haven't done that, and their ignorance, a lot of them are going to cause them to, you know what I'm saying, to perish. The Bible says that, and I ain't no Bible thumper. Ignorance is going to cause a lot of people to perish. I get that. But for those of my people who are covered and doing what they need to do, they already know that none of these celebrities can get on this internet and tell us nothing about being deported. They can't tell us nothing about none of that shit, because we know who we are. See, when you understand who you are, self-identity is the best form of any type of survival. If you don't know who you are lost, and you continue to fall down these paths with these fools. Ricky Smiley, a rich celebrity, can't look me in the poor eyes and tell me shit. Nigga, you ain't scared of nothing. And you know ain't nothing to be scared of. Ricky is being paid and being pushed to do whatever them folks is telling him to do, and he is doing it. Pluck Ricky, pluck D.L. Hughley, and pluck all the kings of comedy except the one that's gone, that's Bernie Mac. Said what I said. Now, Ricky, if you really, really, really looking for somebody to deport, I got somebody for you. Say less. Get the likes up on the video.
Will somebody please deport me? Yeah, I need deported. Please deport me back home to my Father who art in heaven. Yeah, I want to be deported. Handcuff me and send me away to the Father. 'Cause there's so much going on this earth. It gets to me sometimes. Yeah. And in these times, I got to remind myself of my beautiful qualities to help me keep on pressing. Such as, I am beautiful on the inside and out. I am unique. I am real and authentic. Yeah. I'm not like everybody else, 'cause I'm me, and that's all right. I am lovable, I am loving, and I am loved. Yeah. I am healthy, and I am wealthy. So until my Father calls me home, I guess I can't be deported, but I'm gonna be imported right here, right now, and enjoy my day, and I hope you do too. Peace.
I want to go back home to my Father. Handcuff me and send me away. Go ahead on, T-Day. T-Day said if she can't be deported, she'd rather be imported, okay? Completely honest. The reason...
Oh, God.
Me.
Come on
I
here,
wanna
Moses.
go. I gotta
Sing.
go.
Come on. I gotta take the time out to invite Brother Crumb from Crumb TV. If you guys have not subscribed to his channel, please subscribe to his channel. He is another. When I tell you that he blows, I talk about him all the time. You ask my sister. Him and MOI Misinformation, they blow my mind with the information. It's not just the information that they have. It's one, how they present it, and two, they come with receipts. So it's irrefutable. And if you refute it, as MOI says, you suffer from
psychoneurosis.
Psychoneurosis. There we go. So Brother Crumb, please introduce yourself.
Peace and love, family. I'm your humble brother, Crown, the master student. I want to give high honors and perfect praise to the host, Wanda. I'm humbled, honored, and grateful to the panel. I am humbled to be amongst great minds, great people, beautiful souls, and also to the chat, those listening now, and those going to catch this later. Peace and love.
Thank
Peace,
you.
love, light, and power to you. Gratitude. And we're so honored to have you with us. Wanda talks about you and MOI all the time, probably on a daily basis. So definitely looking forward. We have talked about this for the last hour. So if you want to jump in and share your thoughts on this topic before we go to the last topic, you are more than welcome to do so.
I want to go with the flow. I'll jump in on the last topic.
Okay, great.
Support.
Okay, we're actually going to segue into that because as Mother just she just so eloquently put us in that spiritual realm and that deportation realm and mood. I almost started speaking in tongues for a second, so I forgot where I was at. But anyway, she about to make me holler Mashonda.
That blessed me. It was so good.
Oh man, I was in tears the first time.
When she got out of that wheelchair, I said, "Oh, he's a miracle worker too."
Hey, she got up. Baby said, "Rise me up." But just to go back right quick, this is the lady from that's over. Let me see if I can get it to go. If you guys can see that. Oh, let me drop us off right quick. Oh, give me 1 second. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm just going to bypass that. But you guys can go look up Carol Wenger. You know what? Maybe hold on. This is it. I was just talking and I didn't realize nobody heard nothing I said. Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Yes, we can hear you now.
My bad. I apologize, everybody. I'm just a jibber jabbering and on and on and on. But what I was saying, I was telling those who saw the picture, Carolyn Wenger, she's the CEO of Over Essence, and she had the crossbow thing on her face and whatever and whatnot. I guess that's a tribal gear or whatever have you. But when we have people who look the part like us, but then their ideologies and their mindset and their culture is so much different than us, and she's coming in and bringing her culture to Essence Fest, which was the originality of it was Black Americans. I was just trying to find a better word because I hate using the term Black, but it was Black Americans, but now we're seeing that it's now bridged to be more Africanized or African American, if you will. Well, not even African American; it's just mainly Africanized. So, Crumb, what do you think about that? How do we need to gatekeep and galvanize just our culture to where it's not being seeped through to other people, and they come in and they look like us and they want to join the struggle and benefit and whatnot? What say you?
Are you familiar think it's called CARICOM. Are you familiar with CARICOM?
No.
Hold on, let me see. Caribbean reparations group, or let's say commission. I don't know.
I think you can share if you like. Share your screen if you like.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Let me, give me just a second. I'm a little bit new here. Share. Where are we at? This. Here we go. All right. You see that? CARICOM.
Let's add. Let me see. Add to scene. Yep. There we go.
Yeah. So there's CARICOM, and why is this important? Because let me be the first to say I'm all for unity, family. The more the merrier. However, However, not everybody shares that sentiment, and
Right.
us as Americans, for the fact that we don't know is Exhibit A, that we've been left out of the other people's unification situation, and fine, no problem. I'm not trying to bandwagon anyone else's struggle or their business thereafter. I just want to make sure that everybody knows who's who and what is what. They have their situation and they benefited greatly, and I have no problem with that. But when it's our turn, respectfully, going back to elementary school, no cutting in line, bro.
Right.
This is our thing. It's time for us to eat now. I don't see a problem with that. That's why I stay.
Absolutely.
Love that. Absolutely. You had your turn. It's now our turn. Don't cut the line.
Right. Don't cut the line.
It's really simple. Don't cut the line. And let me add, not only is there no cutting the line, you're not holding space for someone else waiting for them to get in the line.
Exactly. Right. Everybody get hit across the head with chairs.
Right.
She's so volatile.
We're taking it back to Alabama. We're gonna be taking it back there.
Right.
But I just want to kind of segue into the second topic with, like I said, Mother, she brought us to a high spiritual point and whatnot. So the second topic is was it toxic faith, and how sometimes belief can become deadly to the point where we lose control of our own self, our own identity, because most Christians are living inside the Bible as opposed to living outside of the world, in the world. And so I'm going to share the first video right quick. Let me get to it. Let me get Kamala ass up out of here. I want to start with this video here. Can everybody see okay?
Yes.
What is his name? Jesus. Elliot. Hello, Elliot. 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 Jesus. Lift your hands. Lift your hands. Yakalamasa. Barabasa kabasa. Sit.
Man is commanding life.
Rise up! Yes! Come on! Come on! Hey! Hey!
Rising up!
Hey!
Jesus!
He was dead. He's now alive. Jesus is the same. Now to him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all we ask and hope for,
Okay, Boosie ain't fooling nobody because I think that was Boosie. But anyway,
my.
Boosie need to get up, go back to independence. Yeah, INDPNT and all that stuff. But I remember this video from some years ago, and I shared it on Facebook, and I think I posted. I'm just going to paraphrase. Like it's been it's been a few years. I think what I stated was that most believers, because a lot of them laughed at this video, and I'm like, but this is in the Bible. This is what you ascribe to. If God can raise, or whoever raised up Lazarus, then why? And Jesus said, "Greater works are within you," and all of that. I'm paraphrasing because my sister knows the scriptures better than I do. Aren't we supposed to be believing this? Like that this can happen? And if this can happen, then why is it such a out of the norm? Why is this is not a miracle? Because a miracle is something that we see that shouldn't take place. This is something that should be every single day because the power lives within and all of that good stuff that they say. So it goes along with the video that the final video that I'm going to play. But what are y'all thoughts on just this little piece right here? As comical as it was.
Well, I will go first. So, we grew up in an era where we saw miracles on a daily, weekly basis at church. I will have to say that I have seen one person raised from the dead, right? However,
that must have been a baby because I don't remember none of that shit.
They were not in a casket. It happened at Holy Convocation in 1983, 82. We were in the gymnasium. This was before, actually it may have been a couple of years before that because we had not migrated to the Marriott. We were still having the Holy Convocation within the gymnasium at the time because we had not, exponentially grown. But someone dropped dead at the dinner table. And of course, they went over, they prayed for him, they prayed the prayer of faith, they rebuked death because we're taught that death is an enemy. So they rebuked death, and the man, got up and came back to life. We've seen blinded eyes open. I saw someone lick cancer off someone's face as a child in church. I saw broken limbs come back, back into place. Another year at Holy Convocation, there was a man in a wheelchair, and they brought him in. He's sitting up front, and our pastor took oil and poured down his cast. And as the oil ran down the cast literally began to split open, and it split open, fell on the ground, and the man got up and could walk. So I've seen so many things. We've seen so many things over the years in terms of miracles, which is for me no different than what I subscribe to today in terms of if collectively we believe a thing, we can cause energetically that thing to be made manifest for us. So this scene though, is a little weird to me with the man laying in the coffin with his mouth open and all of that. And then him sitting up when they call life back into him and all of that. I would have liked to have had a conversation with the man. I've got quite a few questions that I'd like to ask for the whole of it. But yes, I think miracles are possible. Absolutely. Not possible. Miracles do happen. Raising of the dead, like I said, I personally have only experienced it once, but it was a completely different circumstance. So I'm interested to hear what everyone else's perspective and experience has been.
Well, I'll go. I'll say miracles do happen. I mean, that's just
Absolutely.
inherently fake. Of course, you see his mouth open. You see him breathing the whole time.
Everything.
Yeah, I'm
They just
like,
made a better actor
yourself.
for that one. So I've seen real ones, and I've seen those. What this is mimicking, those church hours at 3:00 in the morning. You wake up, someone throws a pair of cough on a crippled man, and now he can walk, and all that game. So you could tell, like, when it's a game and all this other stuff, and then just when vibrations or just real
Yes.
spirituality is in play. But yeah, that's just too fake.
I didn't feel nothing, like nothing from it whatsoever. I felt no vibration. I felt no frequency of life coming to this man, or anything like that whatsoever. So I'm like, yeah, and that's part of what happens is, when we have these gimmicks, and if it's authentic, when it's real, when it's genuine, there's no need for the gimmick. There's no need for the trick. There's no need for the hype. Just let it be. Just let the reality of it be. But yeah, that little baby laying in the casket with his mouth open. No.
Crumb.
What say you, Mr. Crumb?
Yeah,
I have no
absolutely.
idea.
Can I share screen again?
Absolutely. Let me stop sharing.
I wanted just to go over the really quickly the history of it.
Wanda, you going to add him to the scene so he can share a screen?
I thought I did. I think I hit the button by mistake.
I got it.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I found this as of recently, and I did my research and I confirmed it. Super duper interesting. Not sure if you can hear the audio. If not, I'll explain it to you. It's only a short. Check it out.
The Egyptian Book of the Dead, in the story of spell number 17, Thoth heals Horus's right eye by spitting on it and touching it after it was torn out by Set. This story was changed into the biblical story of Mark chapter 8 verse 23, when Jesus heals a blind man's eye by spitting on it and then touching it. Horus's eye was damaged during his conflict with Seth, and Thoth, known for his wisdom and healing, restored it. Some accounts say Thoth used spit, while others credit Isis or Hathor. Regardless, the restored eye, known as the Eye of Horus, became a powerful symbol of protection, healing, and restoration. The book of Mark chapter 8 verse 23 was plagiarized from the Book of the Dead. Specifically, spell 17 is the subject of debate and critical analysis.
Come on, spell.
Both texts feature a healing act involving eyes. Both mention the use of spit. And the Egyptian...
Just want to share that one real quick, because the whole thing, Jesus healed him and did this, fine, no problem. I just find it super duper interesting that 3,000 years before Jesus spit in somebody's face and healed them with it, Thoth did it first.
Yeah, already done that.
And for me, it was just weird. Like, why spit? I got, I guess one more, depending on how you guys feel.
I'm good. I'll add you to the scene.
All right, so check this one out. And in the comments, you see it's up almost 200. The people were just, ew, yuck. And my reply to each and every one of them was, where's your faith? Check this out.
Oh, hell no.
Sorry, I wasn't ready.
He R. Kelly'd him.
He R. Kelly'd him.
I wasn't ready for that, Crumb. I wasn't ready for that. I was not. Now, before you continue, I want to say this really quickly. My dad's first miracle that he worked was that same exact miracle. Okay. Yes. Under the Great Gospel Tent in Harlem, New York. That was his first miracle that he worked, was spitting. Blind man. He picked up the sawdust under the tent, spit in it, made a clay ball. Hey, Tony.
Oh, hell the fuck no. I can hear her saying that in my head.
That's why I'm laughing so hard, because I hear her saying it. But Crumb, that was my dad's first miracle. He spit in the sawdust, made the ball, put on the man's eye, prayed the prayer of faith, said the saying and all of that, and asked the man, could he see? And he was like, it's a little fuzzy, not really. My dad repeated it, and then lo and behold, the man could see. I was there physically up front, watched the whole
I do remember that
entire scenario. So go ahead. Yeah. Why the spit?
Because Jesus spit in the Bible. Well, but before Jesus, like Crumb showed us, it was.
No, I'm saying why spit though? What's the reason for that? Why spit?
Saliva, I don't know what kind of components. They say a dog's saliva is a healing component.
Healing.
So because Jesus was European and they have the Rhesus monkey DNA, so maybe that's all tied together. I don't know. I don't know, but maybe that's a theory that we can kind of work with.
Do you see what I have to deal with on a daily basis? Like this is, this is everyday life. Dulcie, this is everyday life. Every conversation. This is. I be like, you're doing too much. You got.
And I'm going light actually, but
yeah,
is religion, and I'm
trying to reel her back.
I'm not picking on just Christianity, but that's the religion that my sister and I grew up in. We grew up in Pentecostalism, so that's what I know. So that's what I can talk about and talk to.
Right.
So is religion, Christianity? I'm just gonna say for the nigga part, is it toxic? Is it toxic to the point in our community where let me put it in this context, in this framework. Remember when Florida, they needed some rent money. So James went to the pool hall and, he got the money up by, playing pool. Florida turned around with her thick ass and go look at the white Jesus on the wall and says, thank you, Jesus. And even as a child, I'm sitting there looking at it going, no, the fuck she didn't. Like, this nigga standing right here, hustled his ass off in Chicago and Cabrini Green to bring money home, and you're gonna think, Crumb, how do you phrase it? European sweet baby Jesus?
Right.
So
why?
There has to be a level of insanity or schizophrenia or something that's associated with religion. And to bring my point home, I'm going to share this, and then I'll get everybody's commentary on that. But I do, because we're getting to the meat of it, right? So give me 1 second. Let me get this imposter Boosie up out of here right quick.
Not imposter.
Well, a lot of us try to succeed in some way, and we go out and we make a living, or we develop a family. We do something that we think is going to be our way of succeeding and producing something of value in this world. But when that doesn't produce the feelings that we thought it would, we go to a second mode of survival. We're not succeeding anymore, we're trying to survive. And we all pick different means to survive the pain and the emptiness that sometimes we experience when our dreams don't come true, or when things aren't exactly right, or we've had an abusive childhood. And all of us know that alcoholics drink to survive, that food addicts eat food to survive, and some of those are pretty negative and in the consequences. But there are a certain group of people that pick religion as an addiction, just as food or alcohol or drugs could be. The uniqueness of it is that it doesn't look bad, it looks good. And that makes it even tougher for people to confront and see that it's there. What it is essentially replacing your relationship with God with a religious practice, so that no longer are you praying to God, are you listening to God, are you studying God's Word, but you're going through rules, regulations, rituals. You become so religious, and you think that if I can just abide by a few more rules, I can just fit into a few more regulations, just do a few more of these rituals, that somehow I'm going to earn favor with God, or I'm going to make up for this terrible empty feeling. Like any addiction, it feels pretty good for a while, but it starts to fall away in its value and its meaning, and the person tries harder and tries harder, but produces less and less result. So just like a person who used to drink a can of beer drinks a case of beer, the person that just started with a little religious addiction, fairly soon their whole life is consumed by religion. Their relationships fall apart, they sacrifice their family and their friends, and they set up a wall between them and other people, a wall that looks like they've got it all together, no one else does. And these poor religious addicts, they feel like they're with the real thing, the true God, but all they are is participating in a religion that will get them nowhere. Many times religious
Okay. I wanted to play that because I do want to, because time is getting kind of late, and I want to make sure that we're covering everything else. I'm just going to jump right into the second clip, and then we can definitely go back to the commentary. So this, what he's saying was people can become so dependent on a religion or so dependent on a deity outside of themselves that they forego their family, themselves, their jobs. They take it to a level to where, again, they place themselves inside of the Bible. I was listening to, I can't think of who it was some years ago. I want to say it was Ray Hagins, maybe that's who it was. If we take out, if people read the Bible from a third person, from a third person point of view, instead of a first person point of view, that changed the dynamics of how the Bible really comes to life, quote unquote, because if you can read Dr. Seuss, Green Eggs and Hams, One Fish, Blue Fish, and put yourself outside of that, the language of it, and don't place yourself in the first person narrative, you won't have any connection to One Fish, Blue Fish unless you're a child. But I think because people read the Bible from a first person's point of view, they automatically reduce themselves to, well, if God can bring Daniel outside, if he can, was it Daniel, Grace, in the lion's den? If he can do all of that, then he can do the same thing for me. And I think people, they those lines become so blurred that they don't even realize what's going on. And never forget Jim Jones with the Kool-Aid. Thank you, Crumb. But I want to play this last little piece where to the main part of the yes.
Now to a shocking story from Fort Pierce, a mother facing charges for allegedly killing her 6-year-old son.
Authorities believe the child may have died during an exorcism. This is Local 10's Janice Fernandez, who has this story for us right now in the newsroom with the details here. Janice.
Eric, Alex, this is such a tragic story. It's a bizarre story, and deputies say the boy had been dead for several days before anyone was notified, and now his mother is behind bars.
From what I understand, this kid just lit the room up and was just loved by everybody. And so they're all going to be having a very difficult time getting through this.
We are learning new details after a 6-year-old boy who hadn't been seen in school for more than 2 weeks was found lifeless in his bedroom. A tragic discovery that has shaken this community, and now his 31-year-old mother, identified as Rhonda Palanice, remains behind bars this morning after being denied bond Saturday on a second-degree murder charge.
She had a lot of highs and lows during the investigation, from laughing at different times at the scene to crying.
It was around 10 a.m. Friday when a deputy showed up to the home on Bedford Drive after the school reported his more than 2-week absence. That deputy came face to face with the mom before she personally took them to her son's bedroom.
What we did learn in speaking with the mother, she believed she was being told by God to basically exorcise demons out of the child's body. And when the child had stopped moving and basically passed away, at that point, she felt the child had been released of those demons and was waiting for him to basically come back.
The boy, Ramel Pierre, attended Samuel Gaines Academy in Fort Pierce, an elementary school 5 miles away from home. Visibly shaken neighbors and relatives say it should have never come to this.
I'm devastated. I'm sick to my stomach.
I just can't believe this even
is real. Like, I'm waiting to hear what really happened.
Palanice also faces charges for failure to report a death and altering the deceased body, pointing to evidence that shows she was preserving his body. She also posted these photos of her son on her public Facebook page.
Our detectives learned that the mother last spoke to the child on May 18th. That's when we believed the homicide occurred, and that she was responsible for the child's death.
Yeah, it's such a disturbing story. And that mother, by the way, has since been charged with second-degree murder. She did appear in court over the weekend via Zoom from jail, where a judge did deny her bail. But again, this is just such a tragedy.
Okay, I want to start the question off. Should the Bible be responsible, or the teachings of the Bible be responsible for this woman going to this extreme with her child?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Her interpretation of the scripture, falsely, wrongly, whatever, does not implicate the Bible in her killing her son because she was trying to exorcise a demon out of him. The Bible has nothing to do with it.
Okay.
Now, that may be the basis or the scripture, the foundation of what she used in her mind, but this is mental illness as well. This has nothing to do with even religion to a degree. It has to do with her mental illness, or her inability to understand a written text and then to take it and use it to then exorcise a demon out of her child. Because I have so many questions. What made her think her child was demon possessed? Number one, what was the methodology that she used to exorcise said demon out of this 6-year-old boy in the first place? I know they did an autopsy, but they haven't released it, and they will not because it's an ongoing investigation, so they can't. But as the gentleman said that they interviewed, I want to know what led up to this. What did she do? How did it happen? And why she thought he was demon possessed and needed to exorcise this demon out of him to the point that he is unalived. But the Bible has nothing to do with it.
Okay. Dulcie, we haven't heard from you in a while.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I agree. The real problem is mental illness. So
yeah.
Whether she was undiagnosed as a child, whether she went undiagnosed, she was undiagnosed for something. And really, that is the threat of really, I say, more of our community than the Bible, but we do use the Bible as an excuse. But I think we use a lot of things as an excuse to not go and get the help we need.
It's okay that listen, your mom, it's okay.
Go right on. Crumb, your take, because I have a different outlook on that.
Yeah, I got several takes, and I'm a little bit unsure of even if I should even express some of them. But I'll just start from the top with, I guess, the elephant in the room. Yeah, I can see how she may have came to this. Well, okay, there was a story in the Bible where it was basically God saying to Abraham, if you really love me, you'll unalive your son. And Abraham says, okay. And Abraham is about to go through with it. And he gets stopped by an angel, like mid-swing. And, I just trying to empathize with the son's name is Isaac. It must have been a weird walk home.
Definitely weird walk home.
Weird walk
trying
home.
to kill me.
Yeah, you just bro, you was about to.
You
And
trying to kill me.
I think the other elephant in the room may be, I was very disappointed, and please bear with me, family. This is just the perspective I have. I was disappointed it was a black girl. I was hoping it was a white girl. Please forgive me. So.
I was too. I was like, that can't be.
It
is. And then I was.
It's nothing to
postpartum, but then she's way further than postpartum to say it was part of postpartum. Even though I guess that can linger for years, but
it can.
But yeah, it's just a sad occurrence.
My take is along with Crumb, because she said God told her to do this thing, correct? And if people can give credence to Abraham being led by the voice of God to do this very same thing, although God knew it was a test, Abraham
Exactly.
real. So he's like, nigga, I don't want to kill my son, but if you tell me to do this thing, I'm gonna do this thing. So how far do we go? Do we separate from religion to reality? When does faith becomes toxic and deadly? You know, so if we can give, if Abraham can do this thing by the voice of God, and God told her to do this, to exorcise these demons out of her son, who's to say that she wasn't hearing from God? Just like we can't say that Abraham heard from God because it's in the book, because it's what was bred into us to believe. So how do we disbelieve her story and what God said to her over Abraham?
First of all, Abraham was not exorcising demons out of his son. It was a trust factor, like you said, right? If we're going to go with, first of all, we're going to go with the literal interpretation of it. That's number one. So if we're going to go literally that this happened, it was a matter of trust and faith, not having anything to do with exorcising a demon out. And it's hard for me to speak to what this mom said or did, because I don't understand how the exorcising of the demon, was she beating him? Was she trying to beat the demon out?
I don't know. Sometimes you got to whoop a demon out there. You got to beat their ass. I don't know.
But you know what they would say back then? No, I'm not being facetious. That's a real question, because what we were taught back then was sometimes you have to wear the body out that the demon is possessing.
Right.
And before you can exercise it. So that's why I'm asking that question. Was it a matter of her faith that taught her in church that, you know, to calm that body down because he's acting out or what have you? But for me, let's just analyze it from this perspective. I'm a parent. I'm a mother and a grandmother. There is nothing that my 6-year-old granddaughter can do,
right,
that would make me want to beat a demon out of her or try to calm the body down from, you know, unless we're dealing with some kind of Damien, you know, behavior or experience or something like y'all laugh. But I'm just saying, you remember Damien? That was a bad little.
Yes.
That's what I was gonna say, Grace, because I don't believe in all the stories, and I do think the stories can make someone a little crazy trying to interpret it. But my whole thing is, if you really thought someone was demon possessed, would you really feel like you have all the tools to fight off a demon?
Correct, and that's what I'm exactly. Exactly, and that's where I'm going with that. Is okay. If you believe that God told you to exorcise the demon out of your son, okay, let's go with that, right?
Maybe that was a test of the faith too, because if Abraham was tested faith-wise, and she can very well say the same thing. Well, this was a test of my faith to see if God was going to, you know, whatever. That we can say, all of those things could be introduced. The bitch was just crazy.
Right, because at the end of the day is, if you're exorcising a demon out of this child, which we have experienced, Wanda, we have seen, we came out of a deliverance ministry in New York. So that was the standard. Every service, every interaction, there's a demon that's going to be cast out. Every single time, right? If that is the case, I'm with you, Dulcie. Do you have the skills, the grace, the anointing, the wisdom to exorcise this demon out? And to what extent do you know that the demon has been exorcised? And again, I really want to know, what was her method? Because even when we watch the movie Exorcism, right, because we see all this stuff on Hollywood, even when we watch these movies, we see, you know, them quoting scriptures, using oil, pleading the blood of Jesus. In no instance, right, in no instance is there physical contact or physical combat. And in no instance do we see people ending up dead, other than a little white girl on the exorcism, right? I don't like y'all. I don't like y'all at all. I really, really don't. So at what point, what was her point of reference? What was her frame of reference to go the route that she went to the point that the child is unalive? We have never seen that. We have never seen that. That is not a testimony. That's not a witness. There's no account of us seeing that the child actually dies during an exorcism. So I gotta give it to mental illness. Maybe in her mind, she thought she was doing the right thing. Maybe she thought, you know what, my child is acting out. And a lot of parents do not know, real talk, do not know how to deal with their children when they're having these behavioral issues. You know, was he trying to hurt her? Was he trying to hurt other children? Is this a Damien vibe, you know, that we've seen in the movies back in the 70s? Exactly what were the details of this whole demon possession of this child? And if the child was actually demon possessed, why did she not take the child back to the church and let those who are skilled and anointed to deal with demon possession resolve the issue for her?
Well, who want to tackle that question? I have my theory, but I'll let the panel go. Whoever would like to go first.
Crumb, did you want to say something before?
Sure. Not to challenge anything, but I do want to bring back to the conversation when Jesus sent the disciples out 2 by 2, and he told them to cast out demons.
Mm-hmm.
They failed.
They did.
And now they didn't unalive anybody in the process.
Right, right.
But that is a thing in the Bible, and they went back to Jesus, and Jesus told them, "Hey, listen, you're gonna have to fast and pray." Right. So on and so forth. Am I comparing apples to oranges? Maybe, but I think it just is worth the consideration.
Sure, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. I get, and this is such an awful situation that this child is unalived as a result of the combination of mental illness and religion. And when you have that combination, it's deadly.
Can I ask a question to the panel and even to those who's listening in? You can drop your comments in the answers in the comment section, please. Taking out the Jesus piece for one hot second, right?
Mm-hmm.
If Abraham did that in this day and age, or even let's just say even back then,
right?
Would we label him as some type of mental disorder, schizophrenia, or something like that? Would we label him that way as well?
Absolutely. And you and I talked about this briefly on last week. I'm thinking, where are the elders in the community? Where are the legislators? Who's letting Abraham walk up this mountain with this boy to sacrifice him? And nobody's saying anything. This is just a conversation between Abraham and God, and nobody knows. I have to believe that nobody even knows what Abraham's attempt is in this moment. Nobody knows that Abraham is walking up a mountain to sacrifice his son. Who knows that? Who's going to call somebody? Can you imagine me calling, "Hey, Wanda, Holy Ghost just told me," this is fresh from Holy Ghost Central. And the Holy Ghost just told me to kill Elijah. You are going to call, I would hope, if you know that I'm serious, that you're going to call 911. You're going to forewarn him, "Hey, your mama on the loose. She got that 9. You better get out the house.
Your mama on demon time.
Yeah, it's about to go down. You better get out the house." So yes, in today's world, that would be absolutely unethical, mental illness. I need to be arrested. I need to be Baker acted, the whole 9.
So why?
Then Isaac, and to that point too, Isaac is staying the night at someone's friend house, and Amanda came the next day. He is a
for the rest of his life.
day.
Like, nigga, I can't trust you. You can't be around me alone. I can't be around you alone because
you lost parental rights. Isaac is never coming back home to you, Abraham.
You have a relapse. I don't know what the fuck you might do to me.
Abraham, Isaac is never coming back home to you. You have lost parental rights. You cannot have supervised visits. None of that. You are done as a parent. You are done. And then here's the irony for me is then Abraham is dubbed as the father of many nations, and you out here. Okay, walk with me. Walk with me. This is a test to see if you are worthy to become the father of many nations.
I would have failed that test, honestly. But what I wanted to ask was, because you said yes, he would be in this day and age, he would definitely be in an orange jumpsuit or red jumpsuit, right?
Right.
So why do we give, what's the word I'm looking for? Why do we give him a break just because it's in the Bible and it happened so long ago?
I'm not giving him a break, but again,
if we're going to give
lends to the fact, it lends to the biggest question, the overarching question for me, anytime in these conversations I even have with my friends, some of my friends that are even on watching, and I always preface my responses with, if we're going to say the Bible is literal,
She did say
because then that changes the entire dynamic and the narrative and the understanding and the perspective completely. So for me, I have to go back to that this was not some literal interpretation. And then it also makes me think about the word sacrifice. Was that a literal thing? Did it mean to bind him on the altar and to kill him?
Well, most Black Christians, they look at the Bible from a literal interpretation, not from a Gnostic view or a different type of
metaphysical,
whatever metaphysical. They don't look at it like that. They look at it as it fucking is in English.
Right.
Please
stop laughing at her.
He got holes and nails in his feet and shit, and we got vinegar poison out his side. So they believe the 7-headed dragons and all. If you believe that, I can sell you a boat on the moon. But if it's literal in their minds, why do we give? I keep wanting to say a word. A pass. There you go. That's that edible kicked in. Why do we give it a pass for the Bible and not in reality? That's why I posed the question. The first question: does religion, or should it have some type of responsibility? Because if she's saying that God told her to do this thing, Abraham said God told him to do this thing. They both carrying out a mission that God told them to do. Only difference is there was a ram in the bush for Abraham, and she's sitting in a
jail cell. Before Crumb responds, I think we have to be cautious when we say we have to fault religion. It's not the religion that is the fault; it's the narrative.
No, I said, should they hold some responsibility? Because the narrative is coming from. So
right.
It goes hand in hand.
Somebody.
I don't know who that was.
The narrative doesn't go hand in hand only because, again, that means that it has to be a literal interpretation then. Right. So it has to go back to the narrative in the first place. And then I'm going to yield the floor to Crumb. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
He got to get that little egg.
Yeah, he got to get a little sunlight.
Yeah.
It's my turn?
Yes. I can't wait to hear what Dulcie got to say though.
Me too. Say what now?
I have some little feedback.
I think he's adjusting his mic.
Yeah. while you got it. Okay.
Sorry about that. Just some technical difficulties. Everything keeps messing up.
Ain't nothing but the devil.
Hey, right.
But to Grace's point, Jesus did speak in parables, so I don't think it's too far-fetched to say that, hey, looking at it from a literal point of view, maybe even getting away from what Jesus told us to do. I remember after the whole 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread situation, the disciples were like, after that whole ministry, hey guys, I'll do a lecture, then we're gonna have a fish fry, or whatever. And after everybody got done eating it and they went home, the disciples were like, what were you talking about with the throwing seed on the rocks and stuff like that? Right. And Jesus like, hey guys, it was a metaphor.
Correct.
Oh, I didn't mean that shit. That's what he said.
What I was saying to your point, Wanda, when looking at this, and your point, Grace, I don't necessarily say the religion is to blame, but there is accountability. I'm not going to blame the gun, but I do understand that the gun in the wrong hands is a problem.
It's a problem.
That's where it is with religion. And that's why it's utilized not even by crazy people, but in colonization and destroying groups of people and different things, because it's a very dangerous tool that can be used against people.
It is. Well said. Absolutely. We can't blame the religion itself, but we have to blame those who are interpreting or providing the narratives, the bullet in the gun in the wrong hand. And we have to do our due diligence. This is something that we don't talk about enough from the church perspective. The Bible says that the person that's going to receive the greatest condemnation in all of this is not the apostle, not the prophet, not the pastor, not the evangelist, not the elders, not the deacons. It's the teacher. It's the teacher. Those who are teaching these types of things and then allow people in their mental illness or in their mental incapacities to say, oh, there's an idea. My child is misbehaving. He's demon possessed. Let me cast a demon out of him. Again, by which means I do not know. I'm going to follow this story because I am absolutely intrigued. I need to know what method did she decide to use to exorcise this demon out of this boy. I didn't hear the media talk about or the investigator talk about any bruising on the body or anything like that.
You're gonna have bruises. Look at the little white girl in the throwing up and shit all over the bed and floating up in the air and shit. But you're gonna have some bruises when supposedly in the movies. I've never seen a real life exorcism, but anyway. But
yes, we have.
I said exorcism.
Yes, we have.
You're right, niggas.
Yes,
shit.
we have.
Out demons in church is different than I'm talking about white exorcism.
Like the Exorcist, I'm gonna bring that up too. If y'all seen the movie, because at what point would y'all switch? At what point would you be like, the devil got him? I'm sorry.
I'm leaving the baby Lord, because I'm done with it. Take it. I don't want it no more. It's yours. It's yours. It's yours. But you can go to the Bible.
Yeah. At what point do you see a child head spinning on and think, oh, what is it? The blood of Jesus repels you. No, baby, don't fail me now. I'm out there. I got to go. Where's my gun? This girl head is spin around.
Big Mama would have knocked her head between the washer and the dryer. All that spinning shit.
Kitchen cord. I'm about to whoop this demon out you.
Go get me a switch.
Even
the Bible says that God will send a lying tongue, like all of these things to deceive the people. And even I was watching an older video of Crumb and MOI, and in the Bible it talks about where it's the scripture where it says Christ will, who you say I am. And he say those y'all say I'm Christ. I didn't say that shit.
Right.
Y'all say that. But
he asked, right? Who do men say that I am?
The lying spirit and the lying tongue to be deceptive. Then wouldn't that the whole Bible be deceptive? I'm just this is my thoughts. That's just me thinking.
No, you also have to account for the plagiarism. The Bible has been extracted from all of these different ancient sources and then compiled into one. In the original scrolls, there's no book and scripture and no text and verse and all of that. It doesn't flow in that context like that.
An original book.
Yeah, exactly. It's not made that way. So could the way that it has been put together, could it then lead to a great deal of misunderstanding and misinformation? Absolutely. And then again, I'm going to say it again over and over again. If you're going to take it in its literal interpretation, if that's the case, then that's why we have people saying, not just in this instance with the demon possession, but we also have people who have killed and enslaved. The Bible talks about giving instruction to masters and slaves, like it's okay, like it's cool.
Absolutely.
Even when in the Old Testament, when
Christianity became, because through the wars, the Christian wars, all of that stuff.
Yeah, when they came, when these beings came down and they asked they wanted to have sex with the angels. Remember that? And they told them, no, we'll give you our daughters to rape. What?
I can't go along with a.
So we have to. It begs for us to step back and say, first of all, before we run with these narratives, before we run with this information, let's first, it goes back to what Dulcie was saying earlier about identity. Let's identify the book for what it is. Is it a literal book? Is it to be taken from a literal interpretation, or have we misidentified its purpose?
I'm going to say definitely yes, but again, I want to keep in context that the average Black Christian,
I agree,
this in a literal stance. So that's why I keep saying, that's why I keep harping on that literal piece.
Right.
All that if it is or if it's metaphysical.
But that's the problem. That's part of the root, right?
I get that, but until they understand that it's not all literal. Some things are literal, some things are not in the Bible. But until they understand and can separate the two, separate the wheat from the tare, if you will,
right,
and understand.
But they're not until somebody says, like we're saying, that it can't be the literal interpretation, or we all gonna be doing some crazy, like the scripture that you posted, Wanda, on Facebook, on social media, about people who wear glasses.
I must have been high. I don't remember.
That they were. What is it? That what's the scripture? People who wear glasses are going to hell or something.
Oh, right, that's in Leviticus, right?
Yeah,
Leviticus.
Mm-hmm.
That's Leviticus. But if you're taking that and reading that in English, it's going to compute to this is a literal thing. And if it's being preached in the literal fashion, then
that's the problem. Yep.
You can't hold me and say that God didn't tell me these things. That God didn't tell me, because I guarantee you, anybody who's out here on this panel tonight in the comment section, if God told you to go do the same thing for Abraham, you would not do it.
No, none of us are going to do it.
$25 in my account that you will not do it.
Oh my! You have a lot of comments in the chat if you want to address those, because it's after 10 too.
I'm so bad about doing that. Let me give a shout out to Josh. He was supposed to be on the show, but he had to end up working.
Hi, Josh.
73. Peace to the tribe.
Peace to the tribe.
Came over from Cali, so Cali had to work tonight. He wasn't able to come on, but Renita, she's also from Cali's channel. Pony, appreciate everybody. We're already seeing Lottie. He's my Nigerian, one of my clients. Powhatan, thank you for tuning in. And we already seen Tony. This is one of my favorite people in the world. Chris Moore. That's my brother-in-law. Got Tony Green Pill. How are you? Thank you for tuning in. I want to get to right here to what Chris said. He said, but I can see how some can take the Bible and use it to go too far. Sometimes religion can be the fault. I totally 100% agree.
There is fault in religion, absolutely.
That's what I was saying about responsibilities.
But there is fault in religion, but can we solely put it on religion to say, oh, because you are a Christian and you read the Bible and interpreted it this way, then that's all on the religion. It can't be.
But are they wrong? I'm gonna use this in a because I went. My youngest son and I, Egypt, we have a difference of opinion in religion. He goes to a really nice community church called the Journey Church. And sometimes I go with him just as a support system for him. Plus, I need to see who's in your ear too. You know, who's influencing you as well. So when I went, my sister and I, we went 2 Sundays. She and I went like 2 Sundays ago, and I went yesterday, and it feels so cultish in that environment. It does. I'm sorry. It does. It feels so cultish. It's like a good cultish environment, if that makes sense, to where you feel so relaxed and so at ease that you would do damn near anything that these people say do. It's a mind game, as far as I can tell, is what I'm looking at. It feels so very cultish in that church. Those are the vibes that I get. Like it just feels ill. Like Martin told Jeannie, give me splats. And I don't like it. But I go to support because I need to see for my own personal reasons. But I could just see I can almost envision to where they passing out cups to everybody and they got cyanide or some shit in there and everybody's drinking it because they just believe the shit that they're hearing from these people.
I don't get that from there, but listen, that's your perspective. I respect it, but that's just not.
It sure was. It was exactly, Crumb.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why I say, religion can be extremely toxic in because they take it in such a literal. I just had to give a shout out to our mother. This is our mom. Hey, Mom. So we just want to give a shout out to you. Thank you for tuning in, Mom. Because it's taken in such a literal sense, they can't distinguish from reality in the Bible.
I wanted to say something too, because I think it definitely can be cultish, but like you were saying with your son and other things, I think it's just about how we protect the people and how we prepare the people as far when it comes to their beliefs and religion, because it's okay to have as long as you have the right perspective in it. But like, for instance, and not knowing what her perspective was with her son, and knowing my son, you've heard him in the background, he's diagnosed as autistic, and right now like 1 in 27 children are autistic. And
right.
If we're in like the olden times, you probably
Dulcie went out. Oh, she dropped off. Brother Crumb, you want to pick up?
I got her.
Oh, great. Okay, let me switch back.
Oh, sorry about that. I was saying some of the behaviors when he's not able to express himself fully, like kicking, screaming, hitting his own head, self-harm. That could very much look like demonic to someone that doesn't have the right grasp on reality. So it's just important as far as when people do have these beliefs that we're still being able to separate real life, because even if I was to like start getting into all the little remedies that even conscious people have and then end up accidentally poisoning him or something like that, that's on me, because I'm trying to cure something instead of trying to fully understand it. So we need to make sure we understand everything that we're going through as far as it, and our beliefs, have those beliefs, let those beliefs reinforce you in the real life, but still do real life things.
I love that. Well,
yeah. I was gonna go to Jim Jones One of them, and just for those who may not be aware, Jim Jones, not the rapper, the preacher,
The cult.
he ran a cult, and they relocated down to South America, and they had a ritual where they drank Kool-Aid laced with poison, and they unalived themselves. But on the other side of that, my brother, his life was spiraling out of control, and it looked like nothing or anyone could get through to him. And I saw where Christianity saved his life. So
Right.
this is a double-edged sword. I was talking to somebody about a hammer. Is the hammer good or bad? Well, it could build a house and we could all live in it. Or
Depends what you're using it for.
it could crack a man to the white meat and
Unalive him. Absolutely. And again, that's why I keep hammering, no pun intended, on
that was good.
on the fact that teaching these principles matters. If you and exactly what you said, when we lay it out like that, as simple as that was, when we do it in that fashion, it helps people to differentiate these matters. Because if you only give me scripture where God used the hammer to bust people to the white meat, guess what I'm gonna do?
I'm gonna bust you to the
I'm
white
gonna
meat.
use the hammer to bust you to the white meat. I'm not gonna use the hammer to build.
Exactly. So how do we get preachers to look at it and preach and teach it from that other perspective? Because the accountability starts with them too.
Correct. The church and Overseer Moore said it well. The church has to accept some of this responsibility, which also makes sense again why the teachers will receive the greatest condemnation, because it's the narrative, it's the teaching aspect that is making people think that these are literal examples as opposed to parables, extracting the message from it, not doing the literal work of, okay, let me go ahead and load my son up and drive him up the Stone Mountain and sacrifice him.
Right. Because who's to say that he heard anything from God? Like, who was there to record this and put this in the, how the fuck we know?
That's what I'm saying. We don't know what conversation Abraham had with God and Isaac. He just think he out on a daddy date and having having an outing with dad, and we're going hunting.
And shit. He about to whack the nigga up.
And he's just like, oh, me and dad, going up here and we're going to have a good time. We hanging out. We're going to kill some rams, lambs, whatever. We're going to have some ham, jams, potato salad, green beans, and all of this. When we get back to the camp, it's going down. Sarah going to cook and we're going to have some biscuits and gravy. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't know he's the sacrifice.
He's gonna go to the upper room.
And even when we say that today and using ourselves as the sacrifice or altars and all of that, I don't mean that in a literal sense that I'm binding myself to a physical altar in my home and I'm going to sacrifice myself. So again, it goes back to the teaching, the understanding what was being communicated at that time. What is the message that we were to extract? What does that word literally mean when it comes to sacrifice in the metaphysical? Because clearly he was not going up there to really kill him, was he? If that's the case, we got an issue with the founding father.
Abraham didn't know that it was going to be a ram in a bush.
I'm glad you said that. The church has taught us otherwise.
Hold on a second. He was just blindly following this voice that he said that he heard in his head. by any standards, that is fucking schizophrenia.
Well, the church has taught us, again, going back to that, the church taught us, though, that Abraham had absolute faith and trust in God that a way was going to be made.
You can't be that green.
And that I'm just telling you that's that.
Nigga
If
can't
you,
be that green. I'm sorry.
okay,
You have to trick me to take my
okay.
Because
I'm just telling you, people will say that.
You know, would just send me to hell because I'm not doing this shit.
They say he knew he had absolute faith in God, and he knew that God was going to make the provision for him, and he knew. I've heard that. That's been preached for decades. I've heard that my whole life.
Look at Job. The devil and God, I call them Randy and Duke Mortimer section of the Bible. They placed a $1 bet on Job to see if he was gonna fold.
Mm-hmm.
Just like they did Dan Aykroyd character and Eddie Murphy character. They placed a whole $1 bet to see if he was gonna fold. For what? You're omnipotent. You know and see everything. You knew the nigga wasn't gonna fold. You killed everything that this man did.
But isn't that why he recommended Job? Because he knew he wasn't gonna fold.
You gonna put me through all of this shit, nigga? I don't even want to reign with you no more.
But do you go ahead, Crum?
For me, Job's family got the short end of that stick. I just get your new family. Like, geez, like you just like those are my no kids. Jeez, okay. I
all my everything, my cows, my jackasses, everything.
Me and my wife had a good relationship.
The wife who told him to curse God and die because we're not doing this.
I got better kids in the back, but crazy. But I do think that's where it just gets questionable. Just like some of the ways, even from the beginning of an omnipotent God having to destroy the earth. Like, I didn't know that the men would get this crazy. So let me start over again. But a lot of it, like Grace is saying, if you take it from an esoteric sense, you're going to see the zodiacs in it. You're going to see the different stories in it. And to Crum's point, you're going to see a lot of the influence from previous cultures that are in it and everything, where you'll be able to read it correctly and get that a better understanding. But it's in so many parables. To your point, Wanda, it's difficult for it to be in the public that is not like really sacrificing a lot of time to understand the esoterics.
That's it.
Know that like the nature's law just comes first. Put your Bible
the law. That's it.
And put nature first, and then your religion.
Yeah,
I
absolutely
totally agree with that.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's 10:30 almost, so we can go ahead and bring this to a close. Crum, if you would like to go first, and please I'm going to bring you up full maximize you. So if you like for people to go ahead, and you know what to do.
This is the first time a woman has maximized me, and I'm grateful. I'm just
hey, I believe in maximizing.
If I could just echo my previous sentiments, it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah,
religion is very, very, very strong, very powerful.
Yeah,
and the sanctity must be respected and protected. If we let just any charlatan come in and abuse and hijack the faith for nefarious purposes, then this thing can lead us down a dangerous path. However, this is a story that does have a happy ending, and we know that this thing does work. We've seen it. I've seen it. You've seen it. And with that said, I think the most responsible thing to do is not throw the baby out with the bathwater. I'm your humble brother Crum. I'm grateful to be here. High honors to the host. High honors to the panel. High honors to those listening now and those going to catch this later. I'm grateful. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Dulcie, would you like to go? Can you go next for me, please?
Yes, absolutely. It's been an absolute pleasure. Please, everyone, invite me back. I love meeting you, Crum TV, and as well as Grace. Lofty conversations. It's just been amazing, Wanda. Thank you so much for inviting me. And I hope to have this conversation and more conversations to continue from this point. And again, my name is Dulcinea. You can see me on YouTube, The Dulce Effect. And thank you guys for tuning in today.
Thank you. My illustrious sister, did she drop off? Grace, did you drop off? Well, at any rate. Oh, there she go. Let's get you back up right quick. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I lost connection.
Got you. Okay.
All right. So listen, this has been absolutely amazing. I want to say to my baby sister, thank you so much for having me on. I am deeply honored that you think so highly of me to even have me on your platform as your co-host. To my other panelists, listen, y'all, woo, baby. I am looking forward to having some more conversations with y'all in the very near future, having you on Lofty Convos. Now, on my Lofty Convos, I'm a little bit more sanctified than Wanda, so I don't do a lot of cussing and stuff like that. So
I'm unholy.
But we have an amazing time. I want to just leave you with this. It is amazing to me how we see the devil in the children, but not the devil in the doctrine.
Mm.
And I'm going to leave you with that. The devil is in the doctrine. You know how we talk about the devil is in the details, and that doctrine of details where it's not being explained, where we're not sitting down having conversations. It makes me really, really lean into the fact that we need to have more conversations like this. We need to hold teachers more accountable in the church, out of the church, in the homes, making sure parents and other people in our communities are understanding what the Bible means when it's talking about these examples. And Wanda, I think we definitely need to deep dive from the esoteric perspective on what this particular scripture means. And I have a perfect scripture that I want to talk about. I'm not going to get into it tonight, but remember the man in the tomb who was cutting himself, who was demon possessed. And then they ended up casting the demons out of him and sending them into the swine.
Right.
I'm going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that on another live. Thank you so much for having me, for being with us tonight. We love you all. Peace, love, light, and power. It's almost 11 o'clock. I got to get up at 6 a.m. and go back to work tomorrow after 6 months. I'm going to do like the saints say, y'all pray my strength, because baby, tomorrow's going to be a challenging day. Okay. After 6 months of not working. But thank you so much. This has been an excellent conversation. I yield the floor. Wanda?
I truly want to thank everyone for tuning in, tapping in, and turning on your devices to hear us. And we hope that this leaves you with, peace and love, and maybe some invoke some new thoughts.
Yes.
And where we're looking at things a little bit different, because to talk about just a closer on the first part, everybody loves Black America when it's time to sing, dance, or say I stand with you. But who stands with us when the check is when it's time to cut the check? Solidarity sounds sweet till you realize everybody's eating off the same plate that we cooked. And at some point, we're gonna have to close the kitchen.
Go ahead, chef.
At some point, what you call those? The barbecues. The barbecues is going to have to be closed.
Yeah.
In order to preserve who we are, and our lineage
and legacy.
And legacy. Thank you. And our legacy. And our legacy is not always is not. Religion should not be a legacy that we keep passing down like it's some type of generational wealth. But I do want to say that miracles themselves, they're not bad, but when spectacle replaces context, people start chasing signs rather than substance. And that's fertile ground for toxic faith, no matter the century. So with that being said, Thank you and have a good night. This has been Truth Be Told, where the lies get told.
Hey, peace, love, light, and power to you all. Stay lofty.
No, stay lofty.
You done lost me.
That was the wrong video, but that was absolutely the wrong video. Let me, I'm trying to find the one that I wanted to close out on.
One of these days, you're going to come corner me and I'm going to kick your ass. Okay? And one of the days, you're going to corner me and I'm going to kick your ass.
Well, don't you think that's a legitimate question, George? I mean, you're not the
And
only
I
counselor.
gave
You're not
you,
the only
wait a
counselor.
minute. I gave you a legitimate answer. You asked me about my water bill. What did I tell you?
Said you didn't have the money. But your water's still on.
Dirty South, Southeast, Midwest, my piece, up top, down deep, East Coast, Northeast, copper skin, gold teeth, good green, good eats, cornrows, roll neat, big mama, big chief, still here, ain't gone, told lies, lied on, done dirty, done wrong, Jim Crow shit, niggas ain't fold, our land, our home, leave where, ain't going, big bricks, up north, down south, red soil, real tears, real fears, cards stacked, cards hid, games played, snakes near, Coattail Pro, leaders got killed, shotguns, big house, red clay, big mounds, cornbread, being fed, red bones, dark brown. This is for the tribes I know, copper tone strong, all my folks, prisoners of war, identity, change name, gon' lay in stone. This is for the home of the brave, this is for the land of the free, this is for them real Indians, past to the present looking like me. This is for the tribes I know, copper tone strong, all my folks, prisoners of war, identity, change name, gon' lay in stone. This is for the home of the brave, this is for the land of the free, this is for them real landlords, past to the present looking like me. Landlords, big and small, Seminoles, Chickasaws, Choctaws, Cherokees, all tribes in between. His story been wrong, our story getting told. No ships, no boats, been here, been home. TPs didn't own, out west didn't roam. Fried bread, hell no, soul food, that's gold. Raw truths unfold, our story rewrote, our land, our home, leave where, ain't going. This is for the tribes I know, copper tone strong, all my folks, prisoners of war, identity, change name, gon' lay in stone. This is for the home of the brave, this is for the land of the free, this is for them real Indians, past to the present looking like me. This is for the tribes I know, copper tone strong, all my folks, prisoners of war, identity, change name, gon' lay in stone. This is for the home of the brave, this is for the land of the free, this is for them real landlords, past to the present looking like me.